What's up guys, Jackson here with Toasty DIY, and you know it's a fun day when we got some camera stuff going on, especially some instant camera because we like instant gratification here. Let's go and get into it. So this is the new Instax Mini 41. This is basically a continuation or a new release of the famous Instax Mini 40, which has been around for quite some time. Now this camera just came out in mid-2025, and I think in the US it took even longer. I think it came out in Japan first, and I actually bought this one used on eBay for a little over $70. Now the MSRP new in this camera, most places you're looking at like 100 or maybe even a little over 100, so saving $30 to me was a really good deal. And in all honesty, there's not a lot of improvements if you go from the 40 to the 41, so I didn't want to pay way more money for this over the normal 40, but we're going to talk about some of the tech specs here while we unbox. So the Fujifilm Instax Mini 41 came out April 2025 in the US, and it had a going price of about $115. And like I said, if you look used, I ended up paying $76 for this, and you can definitely find some good deals. But the Fujifilm Instax Mini 41 is an automatic analog instant camera that uses the standard Instax Mini film, which is also their cheapest film. You get 10 shots per cartridge. It does have automatic exposure and automatic flash, which is a problem to some people. It has a built-in selfie mirror, so that's pretty nice for if you want to turn the camera around, take a little picture of yourself. And it has a simple twist to activate lens, and that does include a close-up mode for 30 to 50 centimeter shots. The key specs for this camera is a fixed 60mm lens that is f12.7 aperture and has shutter speeds from half a second to 1/250th of a second. It does operate on two AA batteries, which is definitely a little bit of a drawback, but you do get about 100 shots per battery set. Now to go into some more geeky tech specs, this camera once again takes Instax Mini instant film, and the actual size of those are 62mm by 46mm. The lens is a fixed focus that does have two components and two elements. At 1:12.7 ratio, it does have automatic exposure control and automatic flash, so some people say it's best to maybe carry a piece of tape with you so you can cover up the flash for when you don't want to use it, because in all honesty, the flash can ruin some photos. The shutter speed is auto-determined. It can go as long as half a second or as low as 1/250th of a second. That's electronic. Now the focusing is fixed focus, so you gotta be a little bit careful about your shots, but it does have a close-up mode for 30 to 50 centimeter, and then it has an infinite range mode. The viewfinder is a real image finder, which depending on which mode you're in will actually do a little bit of correcting for you. It's a 0.37x magnification with the target spot. Now once again, that flash, it is automatic, always on, no off switch. I don't know why they still make cameras this way. I guess it's just because they think it's for the greater good of the people, but I feel like adding an on-off switch would not be that hard to do, and for a lot of people who are really into taking pictures, it'd be a great added feature. Now for some of their added bonus features, as they call it, we have built-in selfie mirrors. So that's when you flip it around, you have a tiny little mirror that works just enough to be able to figure out your framing for a selfie. It does have an automatic film counter so you don't lose track of what number photo you're on, and it automatically powers off after a certain amount of time without taking a photo. Now the camera is called a Mini for a reason. It is approximately 4.8 inches by 3.4 inches by 5.5 inches. And the camera also does not weigh much. It's 1.16 pounds, and that is unloaded in terms of the film. And it has pretty simple operation. You just twist the lens of the barrel to turn it on and then shoot. And that's pretty much it. Twist again for close-up mode. All right, I'm nervous. We're gonna try out selfie mode. So you can see here, we're set to close up. I will say, I feel like I blinked. That is a bright flash. Also, something that makes me a little nervous too is, man, you can feel that back plate like move when the photo prints. The camera itself though, by the way, has like a decent heft to it, even though it's like a pound, which is pretty light for a camera. It doesn't feel as plasticky as I thought it would. Some of the lomography cameras I have, which totally different company by the way, but they use instant mini film for some of their cameras. They're pretty plasticky for what you're paying for. This one actually has decent weight. I do like the kind of new diamond plating, it adds some pretty good grip. But now we're turning the camera off. Let's go ahead and go on a shooting spree. That sounded really bad. Let's go take some photos. All right, so before I go on with taking more photos with that flash that I think's kind of annoying that it's always on, I 3D printed this, and you can actually find some of these similar models online where, at least I found originally one where it's just a cover that you can take on and off. I thought this was a little more handy, making a cover that you can slide up and down without having to take the whole thing on and off and risk losing it. So I'm going to hot glue this cover onto here so that we never have to lose it, and I think it's a little more cool and official this way. All right, we're gonna let that dry, and then I can put this in here, and then we will continue taking photos where we'll have the option to turn the flash off. All right, so it's honestly pretty dark for a instant photo. Darker than I normally like it to be, at least, but I'm gonna give it a go. It did not work great with the flash off inside up close. It basically overcompensated for the flash, so the image was really dark. So that is a little bit of advice, is probably don't use the flash in certain scenarios. All right, I feel like my hand was pretty steady for that one this time. I did have the flash covered. All right, I'm gonna attempt to get kind of a cool shot of my motorcycle here. And I'm thinking, because it's pretty dark in the garage, and I've realized with how the light sensor on this is set up, you do have to use the flash in some scenarios still. And it may not be like the absolute prettiest, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna go close-up mode. And I'm gonna see if I can get kind of like a foreground shot, basically. Maybe let's focus on the Ducati logo, because I think that's pretty cool. Okay, this next shot I'm going for is going to be very trial, very interesting, which is honestly how I like to do a lot of the little photography that I do. I do like it to be kind of experimental and trying new things. So I'm going to set this one to infinite, actually, with the flash on, but we're not going to get super close to the item that I want in focus, which is going to be the John Deere. I kind of want to let the flash do its thing, which realistically I think the flash is mainly meant for up close photography, but we got to test it because we won't know until we try it. I kind of want the barn in the background with all the barn lights and everything. I will say that flash, very bright, so I would not be surprised if that turns out kind of cool and just all right. All right, so I want to get kind of a cool pic of the truck in like some really high lighting, and we have like tons of salt on the side, which by the way, I hate, but I think this could be kind of a cool shot. We're gonna have the flash closed because, like I said, no reason to have that on with this type of sunlight. I don't really think it would affect anything because it's so bright, but I'm gonna do infinite. All right, so I took a shot of like the truck, the front of it with the tree in the background, so we hopefully have like some foreground background.
Nobody knows that. I mean,
it's always snowing here when Jonah walks in. That's snow money.
That's our boy.
That little snow bunny. Where is he? Right at his flash.
We don't yet, Zach. I don't know if this helps, but we know at least. All right, so the Instax Mini 41. I have had a few days with this camera now. Obviously, one of the first things I did was add the flash hider, and I have some interesting notes about the camera. So I think for the $75 that I paid for it, I'm pretty happy with the purchase. It works good, it's very efficient, it's very point and shoot, especially if you don't add the flash hider. You're pretty much guaranteed to always get a working photo out of it. Now, one of my notes that I will say is I do think this camera doesn't have enough maneuverability, as in I really wish that you could get rid of the flash with a setting so that it actually changes the auto exposure, the auto ISO, basically all those auto features, because as of right now, whenever you do cover the flash, these sensors right here will still detect the same amount of light and they will use the flash accordingly. So obviously, some of the photos that should have turned out pretty good, like for example, the studio lighting photo where I had the flash closed, the photo turned out incredibly blurry because it had to do probably a really slow shutter speed and the flash wasn't there to compensate for that. So the photo was not only really dark, but it's also blurry. So I do wish that there was a way to kind of do a little bit more with the built-in flash. I at least wish it had like a flash on and off mode that would auto change what type of photo you're gonna get. As far as the sharpness goes, it's not bad, but I will say, after multiple tries, it is hard to get what I would call a really good photo. And interestingly enough, when you go to the close-up mode, especially this picture I took of the PC, the framing completely changes. Unless I just did something wrong. I had the PC very centered in the viewfinder and the PC is like very off to one side. So it seems like the viewfinder or rangefinder is really well lined up for the infinite mode, just on. But if you turn it to close up, it's almost more like the selfie mirror is your go-to friend for that. So basically what I'm getting at is I think for $115 new, I think if you spend a little bit more and maybe get Fujifilm's newer mini version, the Fujifilm Mini Instant Evo or Instax Evo, that's the other camera. That's one of the first ones I got. That camera is awesome. It is much less authentic feeling. The camera is a little bit cheaper feeling. It uses USB-C to charge, which I think is pretty nice. It can take an SD card. Like, it's much more like a digital camera that happens to be able to print. So you get really high quality photos exactly how you want them. You can add filters to them. You can download photos to your phone. It is an amazing camera for 200 bucks or less, especially on the used market. So I think if you're wanting really good quality with a ton of settings, the best print quality possible, even being able to print photos from your phone onto the camera, the Evo Mini is definitely the way to go. If you're wanting more analog style, I think this is a good point and shoot camera. I do think there may be some better offerings like Lomography, for example. They have a few kind of point and shoot cameras that take Fujifilm's mini photos. And also there's even cheaper versions. They don't look as nice. I'll be honest, I really don't love all the other Fujifilm cameras that are like the blobs, but a lot of those even have modes where you can change the exposure and stuff like that. They're not really auto. You can change the shutter speed and the exposure by turning the dial. And those can be had as cheap as like 20 bucks used. So I feel like for 115, I'd be a little disappointed with this camera knowing that the other ones exist. But I do think that this is the nicest looking camera in most of the lineup. I think it's built well. I think it's sleek. I just wish that if it was point and shoot, it was a little more point and shoot somehow. And if it's not going to be perfect for point and shoot, which is how I kind of feel right now, I wish it had more manual settings on it. But anyways, this camera will be the one that probably lives at the office because we have like 100 plus shots of Fujifilm Instant Mini camera exposures here that I would like to have a camera here constantly for to take photos of PCs and other stuff like that. So this one will probably live at the office and it'll definitely get a lot of use out of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Toasty DIY video. If you did, make sure to check out Toasty Bros, Toasty Clips for some other cool YouTube videos, and check out PCBros.tech for gaming PCs and merch.